In this video, voguebrunette gets mentored by Reverse Polarity and Madison Hatter 2 as part of her series of learning how to make a UGC catalog for the first time. They'll review her work and what she was able to make so far on her own, and then give their perspective and advice as experts. This VOD is mostly uncut, to give you a glimpse into what it's really like to get help and ask questions as a total beginner. To see voguebrunette's vlog of her journey as she tries to learn UGC on her own, check out the link in the description.
So this is what I was able to come up with. And let me first show you guys how I got there. So I followed the Roblox tutorial on how you make a 3D layered clothing long sleeve, but I'm making a tank top, so it's slightly different. But you start off with this guy here, and then you duplicate him. And then you delete all the vertices that you do not need. So for me, since I'm doing a tank top, it was pretty much just going to be like not the whole body. And then from there, you do the subdivision modifier and you smooth it all out so it looks more like a piece of clothing. And then I kind of sculpted it and made it a little bit more not so flat looking, if you will. And then from there you make sure that, you know, it fits on the guy again and it's not overlapping or underlapping, and I had to make sure the armholes were good. So you have to kind of play around with it a little bit. And then once that's good, you can start sculpting it a bit more so it kind of looks less flat. I don't know if you guys can see the difference, but it's less perfect. More like how a t-shirt would lay, I guess. And then from there, I did my version of adding seams to the clothing, which is the extruding method, which I have questions about, which I'll show you.
Yeah. We haven't done any extrusions.
But that was my method of adding like a seam to the clothing. So then from there, you just waterproof it, which is like closing all the gaps on the clothing, and the armholes do something that looks a little funny, but you know, that's what it looks like. And then that's
no
your
one will
final...
see that.
Very true. That's your final fit right there. So after all your caging and rigging, obviously, which I can't show here, but in Imagination World, I spent, you know, an absurd amount of hours caging and rigging to make sure that it fits perfect on the guy. All right, so that is my play-by-play of how I came to my final item. And then I have a problem because once I export, it looks like this. It does not look right.
I don't see any issue. Looks perfect.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I guess to start off is like, how would I fix this?
Well, I wanted to bring this up before, but I should mention that Roblox doesn't normally allow you to use their word or brand, their title or brand in UGC.
Yeah.
So they might give you some problems with that.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think they'd let you actually upload.
Technically, you work for Roblox. I don't know if there's some sort of, because it's an official item sort of thing going on, but typically you don't want to use the Roblox name or brand in your items.
Good to know. Good to know. Might have to change the saying. That's totally fine.
You can just change it to Reverse Polarity. I think that'll work just as good.
Perfect. I love that.
Well, the good news is it's not as big of an issue as it looks. I checked out your file, and it's a little bit of we need some fixing of things, and it's a little bit of you just didn't quite do all the steps. Way back in the beginning, you decided to. Oh, there was a tutorial. See,
yeah,
there was no tutorial when I learned.
Yeah, I followed.
But I do think it's a good
Roblox
method to like.
Tutorial.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that they have it in there.
Yeah.
That's a good way. Like if you're starting out modeling, and especially if you're doing something like a shirt, just starting out with the cage and modifying that, That's a great way to do it, and you
Yeah.
don't need to be more complicated. Like you could have gotten a program and done stitching and like had it like realistically warp onto the body. And I've done that, and it's super fun, but it takes hours and hours, and the results aren't that much better. So, two thumbs up on that end. Um, Now, as far as your issues are concerned, with the file you sent me, one of the big things you have to keep in mind when you are making and exporting things on Roblox, especially layered clothing and bundles, is the naming of things. So
Okay.
you got the cage convention down. You always have to have the name of the mesh underscore inner cage and outer cage. That's great. Good job there. Somehow armature has an X in it. I actually don't know if that matters, but it's better to just keep armature named armature. And then
Okay.
your tank top is .002, and it should just be tank top, because the system is referencing that mesh,
Oh,
um,
gotcha. Okay.
and so it's the cage is looking for tank top, but it's getting tank top .002, and so that's not going to work.
Okay.
And then I think your exporting process was fine. I don't know what your export settings look like. But the export settings for layered clothing for FBX is really straightforward. So just having everything selected, FBX, selected objects only, and I don't even think I changed anything else when I set up mine. But yeah, just making sure to export just the objects you want is also important. I don't know if you ran into any issues with the other ones in the scene. The thing is that almost all of this is done by default. The only thing I can think of that I changed is I changed it from limited to selected objects, because you don't want to be exporting everything you might have in the scene. And then I changed it to FBX unit scale instead. I think it's defaulted to all local. I changed it to unit scale. So it looks like yours are the same. It's pretty straightforward with layered clothing. The defaults on Blender are good. Mine has an error because I don't actually have the image, but that's okay. All right, looks good. So that should look a lot like what you had before. Now, when I looked at your file you sent me, which is the studio file you have open now, I couldn't tell if you had made it into layered clothing properly or if you were just putting it into these rigs. Did you go through the process of making it into an accessory?
Yeah, so yes, and then all I did was I dragged the little, like, it turns into a hat, and I dragged the hat into my rig.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Roblox has some cool new tools that I haven't even really used all that much because I haven't been making layered clothing as of late, but they have some awesome tools that make this a lot easier than it used to be. It used to be that to make it into layered clothing, you had to get a plugin, and then you had to hit create accessory, and then move it around, and then test it. But under avatar, I think, should be under avatar, there should be a accessory fitting tool. Do you have that? Yeah, that's it. Is this how you made it the first time?
Yes, it is.
Ah, great. Yeah, and you can see in here all of the different options, and it lets you like play around with different cages. I think the problem your original version was having was just that the names were wrong. So if you go through the process of setting this up again, it'll look right.
Yeah, it looks right.
Isn't that great?
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, and yours looks even better than the one I tested with. So
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wait, let me try it on this guy.
yes, yep. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that's one of those ones where you can run into problems easily, because like for me, I have the terrible habit of like accidentally holding down my shift key too long, so I'll have like outer cage, but it's C capital A, and that's what always gets me, and then I'm like, oh, I misspelled something or the syntax is wrong. So definitely good to check that before you export.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It gets especially confusing with like when you're doing bundles, because with bundles there's like 12 or so like different things that you have to name, and you have to name them all very similarly. And also the font is really tiny, and so sometimes Reverse will be like, Madison, come here, you need to look at this because I can't figure out where there's a typo somewhere in here in this giant paragraph of tiny fonts, and you need to help me find it.
Oh no. That is
Madison's
crazy.
eyesight is better than mine, let me tell you. Luckily with layered clothing, you only have to worry about the armature, maybe. I'm actually not sure about that. The armature, the actual item itself, and then the cage.
Okay. And the name
So I think-
is very important.
Yep, you gotta get the name right. So you can just hit generate
Okay.
there. Oh, I've noticed some small issues with the import now that we're here. So this should technically work, but you may notice if you pan your camera to look at the neck, you have some weirdness going
Yeah,
on
I
there.
see that. It's kind of see-through where it shouldn't be.
Yeah. So that is the normals being flipped around, all weird. That happens sometimes when you fill in gaps, because Blender doesn't know like which normal it's going from, because you're coming from like different angles. Honestly, I don't know on a technical level too much of why that happens. But you can
Okay.
see it in your blend file.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Is there a way to fix that?
Yes. So it looks like backface culling is off. We went over this in the last one, but up in the top right, the little drop down arrow there, or maybe it's the drop down arrow to the left. Yeah, that one. No, wait, where is this? I do this all the time. It's funny how much these things. Oh no, it was on the right. Oh, you have to be in solid mode. That's why.
Oh.
So if you click the little white dot there, and you go to backface culling,
Oh,
which
gotcha.
is right, perfect. You can see the problem.
Yeah,
now.
I see it now.
So if you go into edit mode and select those faces,
The like imaginary faces.
yeah, kind of. A quick way to select those is if you hit C right now, it should do a circle tool. And then you can, I like to pan, so I'm like looking right straight down on it. And then if you hit it in the middle, it'll get all the different faces. All right, now using the hotkey Alt-N, or whatever that might be on Mac, it should, or it might even be Shift-N. You should be able to flip the normals. Yeah, there you go. That looks right.
Okay.
I'm glad we came in here because there's another issue that I'm noticing now.
Okay.
Now that we are actually looking at the mesh.
Yes,
So I
please tell me
think
more.
we did this for the last item, but if you
Okay.
go up to the two circles overlapping on the top right, it's called overlays, the little arrow there, a little bit to the left. It's the one
Oh, this one.
that I thought, yeah, that one.
Yep.
And you go down into, where is that? It's right under scale, statistics. Oh, you already
Yep.
have that on. Great.
Yep.
Okay, great. So if you go into object mode, so yeah, out of edit mode, you can see your triangle count is 51,136.
Yeah.
Now the limit on layered clothing, I am fairly certain, is only 4,000.
What?
So we're a little on the high side.
Oh my gosh. All right. That is definitely on the high side.
The good news is you can make this mesh look just as good almost, without all of those subdivisions.
Okay. So is there a way
I
to
think we
like
can
remove that,
probably
or
get
should I
away with-
start over?
No, I think you can probably just remove the subdivisions you have. If you go to the modifier tab, the wrench, I would just get rid of the bottom two
Okay.
subdivision modifiers and see how that looks. It's not going to look as pretty, but
Oh,
if you look
but-
in the top left, now we're down to
Wow.
3,196.
Oh, I love
much
that. Perfect. I thought
And
we
honestly,
were gonna
I don't think-
be left with a ball of Play-Doh.
No, it's pretty good. Your model is nice, so that helps. So that should be right now. You can actually probably just export it again, and it should be ready to be uploaded to Roblox. I can't see any issues. Um, you do have, if you wanted to, you could auto smooth the mesh so that, and you're going to want to set that to 180 down in the bottom right there. Or yeah, bottom left too. Look at that. And that smooths out that top area that was looking a little weird.
Perfect. All right, so my next question, since we're like looking at it right now, is so you can see how for the neckline and then at the bottom, I kind of wanted like a t-shirt seam. So I created it by just extruding. Is there like a better way? Because I had seen tutorials online and they were like super complicated and I really wasn't understanding how to do it or if I had done it too late in my process.
So
would there be
I
like
don't know.
a better way or a more efficient way to make seams look 3D other than like through like Photoshop?
I don't know how else you would do it. The extruding tends to be I mean, you can do it in a less destructive manner, which is to say you're not adding as many vertices, but I think extruding for this use case is fine. And I think the results you came out with looks pretty good.
Okay.
The one thing I would do if I were you is this looks really nice and smooth, but you can actually make things look sharper in places you want to look more separate, so to speak. So on mine, well, actually, that's pretty. Before you do that, generally you want to apply your subdivision modifier so that you can be working on the actual vertices. So that's just Control A when you're hovering over a modifier, as long as you're not in edit mode. And now you can see what your mesh actually looks like. So for like the sleeve, if you go into edit mode, you can mark it sharp. That selected, you can hit Option E, and then that'll pop up the edge menu. One of my favorite things about Blender is you can undo selections and deselections.
Yes.
So you should have mark sharp down there near the bottom. And now, if you go back into object mode, you can see how much sharper that looks. So it looks like more of a stiff fall off.
It gets rid of that like curvy, weird
The smoothness.
balloon.
And you can do that for the bottom seam as well. And sometimes you're not going to want to apply that, and sometimes you are. Oh, it looks like we do have a bit of weirdness, but that's okay. We can select around it.
Yeah, I extruded back and forward, so because if I extruded it all together, it would sink it instead of balloon it. I don't know how else to explain.
There are ways to make that better and worse. But I'd have to be walking you through it at that stage, and I think you did a decent job here.
Okay.
I really like the way that you adjusted the materials so that it's not all flat. Like if you're looking at it in edit mode, you can see sort of the waviness of like how that might actually sit on someone's body. I thought that was really nicely done. That's a hard effect to really nail. So to see you even try it is impressive, and then to see you get it, I'm very happy about.
Wow, thank
Absolutely.
I was really worried about layered clothing. I thought that might be a challenge too far for someone who's never even done any of this before.
Yeah, but I opened it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I don't even need a t-shirt or anything. Just
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Thanks,
Nailed
guys.
it.
So I think this looks pretty good. On mine I gave the collar some sharpness, but like it's all up to you. You have creative license to make things however you want. And yeah, I think this looks really good. So if you've re-exported this, I love that little pull on the back. If you've re-exported this, it should be good to go. Plug in the texture and make it into a layered clothing with the fitting tool, and you can actually probably publish that right away. Though you may want to adjust your texture like we talked about.
Okay. So then my next question would be that I, had decided to do the the UV unwrapping, and then we had to do the waterproofing. So my question was, does that mess up the like picture image of it? Because I noticed like it's kind of white inside, or is that just because of the back face culling?
No, that is actually a texture issue. Now, if you are running low on time 1 week or something, that's usually not an area that matters as much.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go into UV editing, you can see that these faces that you added in, I'm not sure how you did this exactly, but you can see they're not looking great on the UV side of things,
Mm-hmm.
which you can see in edit mode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're looking at my screen, but
I was looking at yours, yeah. Sorry.
yeah. So probably what you did is you extruded in or filled this in somehow, but you had already unwrapped the shirt before you did that.
Yeah.
So these sort of lower areas,
Didn't get colored.
yeah, they're on the UV, but they're not really what you want them to be.
Okay. Because I followed the order of process, and it was waterproofing was last after UV editing. So I was like, if I were to do it again, would it be better for me to waterproof it first and then UV unwrap it and then do the texture portion?
It depends on the item you're doing, and how much you want this to look like good. Like even if you look on the insides of this doesn't look, well, it doesn't look great, but frankly, no one's going to be really seeing that. I don't have yours set up, but I think you got it set up on a mannequin at some point. Actually, don't know what happened to the final version. Is this it? Anyways, you can imagine the character's neck is going to go in there and their arms are going to go in there. So sometimes, like with that sort of stuff, I don't really worry about too much how it looks, but you are getting this weird white bleed through. I'm not even really sure why that's happening. So I would personally, for this, I would go back and I would have probably done exactly what you did. I would have made the item, unwrapped it, textured it, then waterproofed it, or
Okay.
that's not the term, but is that the term? Whatever. But then you can come back in and arrange the UVs and put them on there somewhere. You can do this by doing this and then like going back and editing your texture, or if you're feeling really lazy, you've got a lot of nice like blank pink over here.
Oh yeah, you could just put it on top of there.
You could just throw it on there, and then if we turn on textures again, it looks fine. It looks fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Oh, I missed the spot.
Wait, how did you do that? How did you make it grow like that?
Hee. How does that work on Mac?
A what?
How does that work on Mac, I wonder? So that I don't actually know is the thing. So on my computer with a numpad, I select a single vertice, I hold Control, and I hit the plus button, which doesn't show in this stupid screen cap thing. There we go. So you can see with the numpad plus and Control, you can actually just select more and more from a vertice, which is super useful. I modeled for about 8 years before I learned that one, so there's always new hotkeys to find out. You could probably do it. So it looks like the thing I'm doing there is called Select More. So you can always do things through these drop downs at the top you have on the next row down, actually. Not the top drop downs, but the next drop downs. Under Select, there should be Select More. Is there not? Oh, yeah, Select More. Of course, if you do it that way, you have to keep going back.
Keep going back, yeah. Oh, I
Which
see.
is,
So
you know,
have to
does that save time?
Does that save time? All right. Is there a point where you get, because I got pretty frustrated with the armpit holes when I was doing the caging process, and luckily Han was able to help me and walk me through that. But is there a point where you get to a build where you think, I should just start over? Like, I don't think I can fix this. And how would you know, like, if I didn't have Han, how would I know, like, oh, I should just start over because if I keep going, this isn't going to work?
Generally, like some amount of that is just experience. When you work on something and you've done a bunch of different ones, you'll get a vibe for like, oh no, I've gone too far and I can't go back. But to give like a more of a concrete answer, if you're starting out, basically, if you can't easily take something and restore it back to like your vision, so let's say like here's one of the things that I couldn't do from this save file is like let's say I didn't like your really nice wrinkles, like this pinch, get this out of here. I don't like this, but secretly I do. But let's say I didn't. And I wanted to get this back. You know, I could slide the edge loops and try to make it look right and maybe smooth some things out or whatever. But like I don't know how to get this to look the way that it did originally. That's the point I would start over on. Now, you said you had a hard time with the like the holes for the arms. What precisely was your issue? Because if you had an issue where it's like, okay, well, I'm having a really hard time and it's because I've already split things up or something, that might not be something you can fix. But I would encourage people to try and fix things before starting over.
So my next question is kind of, I don't know if it's just like always going to happen, but maybe it's because I have words on my tank. Maybe this is like a Madison. I'm not entirely sure. But so in some instances, on some of the people, when we saw earlier, the words kind of deform. And is that like just always going to happen, or is there something I'm doing incorrectly that can be fixed?
Well, that's something that can happen and be fixed with having like as neat of a UV as possible, and also if you know that you're going to put text somewhere, making that as on the UV, having that be as straight of squares as, you know, lined up as possible. But also another advantage to Substance Painter is that on there you will just be able to draw on the font, and so you can make it exactly as straight and position exactly where you want it, and so it won't kind of get warped as often, like how in Photoshop you draw it out and then you kind of have to guess and check.
Yeah, you have to keep going back and forth and like, oh, does that look good? Does that look good? Yeah.
Right, yeah. It definitely helps with that. But other than that, just making the UV as straight as possible does help a lot.
I think the result you got is pretty good. I don't know if
my gosh,
you still feel like it's warped. I think that looks good.
Well, yeah, I keep making myself feel better by saying, you know, if it was on a body, it would not be perfectly straight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
Okay, Madison, so I have a question. So I love the way my diamonds look on the shirt, and I love the look of them, but typically like on a real shirt, you know, the diamonds would kind of like protrude or like bedazzle a little bit more. Is there a way to do that, like to staying within the triangle limit and like all the limits that I have?
Yes, so there are a couple options for that. Fortunately for layered clothing, we're able to use more than just a color map. You can use normal map, roughness and metallic map, which is basically just like the shininess, and obviously the color map. And so what we can do is we can use either Photoshop or what a lot of us go to is Substance Painter to add those details and kind of create the illusion of there being extra texture in the model. Because obviously if you were to make all of those little circles of the diamonds like perfectly round and protruding a little bit, that would cause a lot of extra vertices. And so what a normal map would do is it would kind of simulate the detail with the lighting in Roblox. And so it will kind of create a shadow in these little crevices that we're going to try and create. And it will make it look like there is a little bump there at every single little diamond.
Okay.
And so, how we can do that in Photoshop, unfortunately, like a month or two ago, Photoshop used to have a built-in normal baking system, and like a month or two ago, they created this update, and now they don't have it anymore, and it makes me so angry.
Oh no!
But there are like external sources you can go to. There is this one website. Let me pull it up. And it's just called Normal Map Online. Let me delete all my other tabs. Where you can just kind of save your image, drag and drop it in here, and it'll create this. They're always this like purpley, greeny, bluey sort of image, and that shows the where the high points are and where the low points are in the image.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we take the original texture that you have here, one thing that can kind of help with this is creating a duplicate of the color and making it super high contrast to kind of highlight these things. Like what we're wanting is to highlight these diamonds, and so we really want to highlight them in the color. Whether we make them super dark or super light.
Mm-hmm.
Just so that it will be able to pick up on what we're trying to highlight. And then we can save that as its own PNG. Go to this website. And there's other versions of this website as well. This isn't like the only one out there.
Okay.
And then just drag and drop this PNG. And it's super tiny. And I have very bad eyesight, so I'm going to zoom in. And you can adjust the strength of it. So yeah, see, you can see there it's giving you a little of that shirt detail and texture. And you can adjust the level of it, blur it a little bit. I like to make it a little blurry.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also invert it if you want it. Which it looks like that one's actually more highlighting the stones here. Yeah, okay. And then you can just download this. And then I like to keep all my maps in one same Photoshop file and just name them, normal map.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, it's a little bit trial and error. That's a little bit blurry. So I'm going to try to make it.
But if you put that on a surface appearance, that would like make your text pop.
Yeah. It would make it pop, and it would also, you can see this kind of fabric texture. Mm-hmm. It even, you got your kind of folds that you had in there. Yeah. And so how we put these in Blender is we go over to this shading tab, and I think it's this one that we want to be working with. And so there are these things right here called nodes.
Yes.
And they can look a little bit terrifying. It looks like you already kind of have a normal mode here. But if not, you just want to add a normal mode, texture, go add texture. Oh my gosh. Add vector normal map. Wait. Oh no, that's already up there. I'm sorry.
It's because it's the new Blender layout. We used an older version.
Yeah. Yeah. So one easy way to do this too is just take this color map that's already up here and just copy paste it. And then you can bring it down here, and you already have this normal map right here, node, and you can attach the color to the color, the strength to the alpha. You just connect the same colors.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put in your tanktop file. And for whatever reason, it always defaults this color space to sRGB. You want it non-color because otherwise that like purpley blueness will kind of show through. And it's not going to look that way in Studio.
Okay.
And then we can go back here, and you want to go to this viewport shading setting. Materials, yeah. Oops. Oh my goodness. And then you can kind of see that it did create that illusion there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it can make a world of difference in anything that you create. And then if you want these to be shiny, that is pretty easy. So in a metallic map, those are basically just blacks and whites and grays.
Mm-hmm.
So black is going to be absolutely no metalness at all, and white is going to be the shiniest part. And so we can take another copy of this color map, put it down to grayscale, and then we can try to... Sorry, I changed the resolution because it only goes up to 1024 for Roblox, and so your diamonds got a little bit...
Totally fine.
I actually think Roblox automatically scales things now. I think you can upload higher resolution textures, and for items, it will just, like, if it's too high res, it'll just automatically scale it down. Now, of course, you might get some bad results from that, but I never have. Roblox's downscaling tools are excellent.
Yeah, for sure. And so you can try different ways of highlighting these. Yeah, like here's one way. This would have been easier if I stuck with the higher resolution. Oh, actually, I think I have that right over here. Yeah. Wait, no. Let me go back to before I decrease the resolution. Perfect. Yeah, now this will be easier to just highlight the gems. Ideally.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to highlight these areas around the gems, and then you can, once you do that, you can right click and hit invert to create, or to select all the things that you didn't just create. So it's a little faster than
clicking,
clicking on every single gem. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Unrelated question, does Photoshop not let you undo selections?
It does.
Okay.
I just had it selected on only select one thing at a time.
So you're basically selecting everything in this image.
Yeah.
Other than the diamonds.
Other than the diamonds, yeah, exactly. It's a little tedious. I apologize.
No. This is amazing. I didn't know that this was a possibility.
I know. That's one of the coolest things about these sorts of tools is that, or these sorts of programs, is that you just are continuously learning about new features on them. I'm always just like, searching online for whether or not I can, or like a specific question I have, and then constantly I'll just figure out. Ooh, sorry, I'm voice crack. Oh my gosh. But I'm constantly finding tutorials online that's like, oh, here's how to fix your exact problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and now, so I had all that selected and copied and pasted, and I'm just going to make it all black. And we got some parts that I missed. So I'll just... Whoop. You're muted, but... And then I'll create a white layer under it. So now it's just the black and white part of the text, which I will now change back to 1024. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. And now if we put this into Blender, I'm gonna M for metallic. Go back to shading, and we will copy and paste this as our metallic. Import that folder. Again, it goes to RGB. It's going to desaturate it because it's all black, but
Yeah.
So just do non-color. And then this one, you only do the color. You connect the color to the
Metallic.
part that says metallic. And then, oops, oh my gosh. Oop. And then you can kind of see it, and you can rotate the lighting, and
The metalness shows up much better on Roblox, too.
yes. Yes.
That's amazing! My mind is so blown. That is so cool.
Yeah. And yes, and then you can also add a roughness map to highlight that even more. It's basically just the inverse of the metallic. The all blacks are are the highest metallic, and the whites are the lowest.
Gotcha.
Yes. It's just to invert your metallic and you'll get your roughness.
Okay. That is so cool. That looks so real. I love it.
Yeah, and
That's
it just
amazing.
adds so much more dimension and life to it, and
Yes.
can be a lot of fun to play around with.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you. That was like mind blown times 1,000. I really thought I was like shooting and you guys were gonna like completely crush my dreams and be like, sorry.
No, it was like even before this, it looked really, really good. I was very impressed.
Aw,
But these things just add a little bit more detail, a little bit more shine to anything you're working on, and so you can get a little bit more creative with it.
yeah, no, that was amazing. Like that's like it adds all the texture that like I was missing.
So yeah, once you have the normal map and the metalness map, you can export those as separate files, and you can upload both of them to Roblox, and then put them in a surface appearance. That is not something that we can do though, because it has the word
because
Roblox on
the
it.
Roblox.
You could probably get away with it, but I can't.
No.
Yeah,
way.
we're not gonna get banned for a day.
Can you just delete the Roblox part of it?
I
Just-
can, yeah.
All right, you say that so confidently. What about the stuff behind it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh my goodness, you're a wizard.
She is pro.
Trust me, I'm a professional at fixing
Weird
things
mistakes.
because I make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. I made a mistake saying that I make mistakes. Forget the name of it, but it's a spot healing brush tool, and you can usually just put it on there, and it'll like use AI and code to figure out what's around it and just
Okay.
kind of guess the in-betweens, which is it actually works pretty decently. So
Now that I have the image files, we can go ahead and upload these to Roblox. Now, I don't think your file is published, so you won't have access to the asset manager.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually like to have a file open that does have access to the asset manager, and that lets us upload things way faster. And then once you have your thing all set up and you're ready, you can insert a surface appearance. I use Control I to bring up this menu, but you can also get it through this plus here.
Okay.
And then you just copy and paste in your maps.
Oh wow.
Look at that.
yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really pops.
Yeah, that's really nice. And the arms don't look like balloons. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys
Yeah.
have been so amazing. So I guess continuing our trend, what would you guys rate my grade for this assignment?
In the context of somebody who has never used Blender before a couple weeks ago and then has made like layered clothing, I am thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
I haven't been this impressed since Danny asked me a couple of questions once and then became a better UGC creator than me in like 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Very high praise. Thank you.
Yeah, I would definitely give you an A.
Aw.
I'm so impressed. Even with your texture, I'm like, for not having the maps, usually what I do is to create that is I use the maps instead, and you just did all of it on the color map, and I'm so impressed by that. Especially, I don't know how much 2D art you've done prior to this. Nothing?
No.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
Not artsy.
You are putting me to shame. This is crazy.
No.
So, oh man, now it's an A+. That's that's
you.
crazy. Yes, so I'm very impressed.
Aw, thanks guys. That means the world. I appreciate you taking so much time to really help me through this. I think you could really tell how much I learned from you guys. It's been amazing.
It's been
Good.
fun to work together.
Yes, this has been a really cool process to see, and I'm really glad we were able to help you through this.
Thank you.
You could have gotten an A+ if you had made this adore reverse polarity.